Alongside Winnipeg Jets analyst Kevin Sawyer. Kev, the Jets dominated the Canucks 6-1. Did the game teach us more about how good the Jets are or about how much trouble the Canucks are in?
Yeah, good question. I think the fair, honest answer is both. When Winnipeg plays the way that they did out of the gates against Vancouver last night, they make the best of teams look average at best. They've done it to the Florida Panthers, they've done it to the Colorado Avalanche, etc. Kyle Connor, natural hat trick, that top line. They combined for 71 goals. That's more than any other trio in the NHL. When they go, the team goes, and they were lightning fast. In saying that, as the game grew into the second period and onward, you can really get the sense that Vancouver is fragile, to say the least. They were overwhelmed. They were disconnected. You saw key guys like JT Miller, Elias Pettersson, and even Quinn Hughes, where they were making plays, giving the puck up for free. And that was frustrating for the team. And I would say that even goes beyond frustration. And we've seen that with the Vancouver Canucks, a lot of outside noise. I think you really have to worry when it gets beyond the frustration and it gets quiet. To my right, I'm at ice level in Winnipeg, and the Vancouver Canucks bench was quiet. There was no chatter. There was no interaction between each other on the bench. They were coming back to the bench after being overwhelmed shift by shift, and they weren't saying much. You get the sense that they're really searching for answers in Vancouver.
Kev, the Jets moved into first overall. They've got the most wins in the league. They're number one in goals. They've got the best goalie in the league by far, and yet they're only ninth in terms of odds to win the Stanley Cup. What's the rest of the country missing about this team?
This is just more of the same narrative that has been going on here in Winnipeg for my 8 years here calling games for the Winnipeg Jets. They're, for whatever reason, the underdog, and it makes no sense to me. I mean, if you're looking at a team that has a chance to win, then you look at the areas of the game that have been proven in the past about what you need to win in the playoffs, and that is defense first and goaltending. Well, they've got the best goaltender on the planet Earth in Connor Hellebuyck, who's just been outstanding. He's 13-1-2 in his last 16 games. They're the best among all teams defensively over the last couple of years. Right now, they sit third best in goals against. And then you look at their goals for. They're right up there as well. So you look at all the things that are required to win. They should be right up there in the top two or three, but it's Winnipeg. And you know what? They're the underdog. And I've learned to understand that Winnipeg, although they don't appreciate it, I think they embrace the fact that they don't feel like they get nearly enough respect nationally for the performance that they've put on the ice here over the recent years.
The Jets made a minor league deal for a D-man on the day. They still have 7 weeks to make the big moves for the big club. Is there a hole they need to fill, or could tinkering just cause more trouble than good for a team that's really on fire?
Yeah, I don't see the trade that they made today being an impactful one for the big club. It was more of a minor league deal. But I do think that there's a couple of possibilities here where Colin Miller and Hayden Fleury are both going to get healthy here soon. So that means somebody on the roster on the back end is going to have to go back down to the Manitoba Moose. Dylan Coghlan already cleared waivers once. Depending on when they send him down, do they run the risk of maybe losing him? They added another defenseman in the minors that has some size, a little bit of NHL experience, in Isaac Phillips. He's 6'3", 205 pounds. To me, this is a security blanket and an insurance policy for depth. Maybe the Jets are looking to package a deal up at the trade deadline, see what's available to add to their roster. Listen, I don't think that the Jets are running risk of tinkering with chemistry here. This team is rock solid as far as culture goes. The room is strong. They've got great leadership, Adam Lowry among many others. But there is a need, I think, on the front end. I think they need something in the middle of the ice at the second line center. But they're so solid with their culture that I think that they would embrace any kind of little changes that Kevin Cheveldayoff may make.
Connor Hellebuyck had an amazing regular season last year, then just blew up in the playoffs. Barring a major shift, he's going to win the Vezina this season. You see him play every day. You talk to him a lot. What makes you think we'll see a different Hellebuyck come playoff time this season?
Yeah, desire and want. Listen, he wasn't good. He wasn't even close to his standard. He'll be the first to admit that. He understands that. That'll just fuel him more. I think it's fair to add too that the Jets in front of him, where they were so consistent all year long, They allowed 199 goals last year. No team allowed less than 200. They were the best in that category, and somehow they disassembled in front of them from the structure standpoint, and that can really throw the balance of any goaltender off. In saying that, Connor Hellebuyck is comfortable at times being the hero and playing hero for a team when they're not at their best. He can save and steal games. I've never met an individual in the game of hockey that, and I don't throw this out loosely, that has the desire to win more than Connor Hellebuyck. He sets his goals and he's very clear about what he wants to do. He talked about 500 games. He talked about 40 shutouts. He talked about 300 wins. He's checked all those off the list. Now he's got 2 Vezina trophies. He's going to get a third here. And the only thing left is a Stanley Cup. And to me, the answer is his will and desire to win in the postseason.
What about the offense? Kyle Connor and Mark Scheifele are tied for third in the league in goals right now. Which of these two is more likely to keep up this pace and challenge for the Rocket this season?
Yeah, it's funny. I talked to Kyle Connor last night in between periods, and I said, who's the passer, who's the scorer on this line? And the answer on that line is that they all are, because they can all make plays and they can all score goals. But Kyle Connor and Mark Scheifele both tied for 26 goals. It's a hard one to answer. I think for me, it's Kyle Connor because he's the most pure shooter on the team, and he wants to shoot the puck. And actually, Mark Scheifele will admit to you, he considers himself more of a playmaker. But that's evidence that this line is making the play that is in front of them, whether it's Gabriel Velarde putting the puck in the net or making the play. All three of them have the ability to do both. And Gino, I should add, as good as the Jets are offensively, they're third best among goals per game on average. All starts from their defense. And that to me is what makes this team so good. When you can get guys like Mark Scheifele and Kyle Connor to buy in on the way you play without the puck, that says something. And the way that Scott Arniel has done it is when you play without the puck a certain way, you're going to have it way more. And that's going to lead to more offensive numbers. The structure that Scott Arniel's built here in Winnipeg has got buy-in from everybody to be good defensively. And then you see it. They threw up 6 against their opponents last night in the Vancouver Canucks. And it was because they were so good defensively.
Great job, Kev. Winnipeg Jets analyst Kevin Sawyer as Winnipeg hosts the Kraken tomorrow night on TSN 3.